Hi friends, my name's Brutish, and I am going to be taking you through a sort of visual tutorial, if you will, of discipline. I've written a lot of words on this stuff, and I find it might just be a lot easier to show people what it's like to actually have it be played. Now, I'm running around with a couple legendaries that makes a difference. I have Smite, can reset penance, and Power Word Shield reduces the pain suppression cooldown. So you'll see me using Rapture for like spamming shields at times, and that's solely to reduce the pain suppression cooldown. Now this is a regular Mythic 0, so I don't think it's going to be extraordinarily difficult. But I'm still going to play it safe. I have Grace, I'm running Power Infusion. You could run Twist of Fate, also an option. And yeah, we're just going to jump right into it. Nothing professional about this, just goon quality. So I'm dotting up everything as we run up here. I put a shield on tank, not as much for the absorb, which is sort of a bonus, but more for the atonement on them. Throwing out Shadow Mends on people that have taken any amount of damage. In this case, the warrior was taking a little bit. He's got something to spell on him, but it's on cooldown, so I'm not going to worry about that. For now, you see I threw out a Radiance there to just get coverage on everybody else, so as soon as I start penancing and hitting these buttons, then they're getting heals off. And for the most part, you're going to see me doing that for a lot of the dungeon here. I'm just... The goal is that you have Atonement kind of rolling on everybody, so whenever you have Penance back off, you can just hit it and everybody starts getting heals. You're going to see I try and drink here between every pull. This guy doesn't want to let me. It's okay. We have more than enough damage, and I have more than enough mana to get through all this. So here I am spamming Rapture on here to get the Pain Suppression cooldown back up just a little bit sooner. Get a Dispel on that warrior. Now he can break himself. I'm going to go ahead and get shields out on everybody too for this Winds of the North thing. Winds of North Rend. Now... people didn't even really take enough damage to break it, but the atonement is there if I had needed it. I'll throw out a DS for no reason. More or less just keeping the shields on the tank to keep the atonement rolling, get the little extra bit of healing, keeping the pain suppression running down, thrown on penance whenever it's off cooldown for that sweet damage and that sweet extra healing. This group seems extraordinarily well geared. It's going to be a real quick run, it seems like. That's totally fine. I know that's not always going to be the case for everybody, but the principles of healing and keeping people alive are the same. The opening here is going to be essentially identical all the times we go into combat. I'm putting dots on guys, and then opening up with a penance once I have that shield off in the tank, because the tank is ideally the first person to be taking damage. Keeping that on him. He is a Blood Death Knight, so he should be able to do a decent amount of self-healing himself. These guys have this annoying deflect thing they do at 50% health. We're going to throw a Shadow Mend on him to work with that Grace, get some extra healing. Throw just a plea on myself because I'm not super worried about taking damage. There's that deflection thing. And this damage is really good. I might not even get too much of a chance to really go into the details of stuff. This guy does a party thing that really hurts, so I'm going to throw a Radiance out first, and then I'm going to do this barrier so I can get some sweet healing off on folks. So it doesn't quite deal as much damage. Put that shield on the tank also for that body and soul so we can get up there quicker. I am basically out of mana, so I'm going to sit down and get a couple of sips of drink here. This big guy doesn't do a lot except for put some this debuff on the tank that reduces max health by a little bit, but he's not going to be taking a lot of damage in the meantime. Oh, I guess you can dodge it, so even better. You'll notice sometimes I'm throwing a focus up here in the side. That's just so I can more easily target. I don't have to worry about it. I have that key bound to the B button, so you can just tap B on somebody and get that little frame up. See, I'm keeping the atonements rolling on everybody. I'm throwing out penance, throwing out a smite, and throwing out a Shadow Mend to kind of get people topped off a little bit. And let's see here. These guys do that fear, which I can throw a massive spell on if everybody gets hit, but knowing this group, just from what I've seen so far, interrupts are going to be going out. I'm going to use my Mind Friend here to get some mana back real quick. See, I'm kind of alternating between using whenever penance is up, and then if the tank still needs a little bit of healing, I'll just pop a Shadow Mend on him. And because he has the atonement from shield, and I have Grace, that Shadow Mend is going to be just a little bit more powerful. He is tanking, so he's taking damage, so the Shadow Mend will be, the debuff will be consumed basically instantly. Gonna be fighting this next boss here now. Everybody's up, everybody's in. Get a dot off on him. I like to open up with a Smite cast because it kind of lets me precast a little bit. I'm just going to go ahead and get atonements on everybody because, I mean, damage is going to happen. There's a lot of just incidental damage that happens in this fight. Get that shield back in the tank for that sweet atonement. I'm not going to worry about the scythe too much because I'm just going to be sitting here. You can see my smite's just taking care of everybody. Get that dot back on him for the Power the Dark Side. I could throw a Pain Suppression on the tank just for funsies because it's a very short cooldown with the Legendary, but I'm actually going to save it because this fight's going so quickly. I'm going to save it for the next pull because I know they're going to pull a lot of guys. I know that he's potentially going to be taking a lot of damage. You can see it like I will sometimes just sort of let the dot fall off because I'm doing other stuff. It's something you want to try and keep up there, but there's just, for the most part, you're better off getting heals out on people, keeping atonements up, and everything like that. It's kind of a secondary goal. I'm gonna get my drink back up here. Are we doing this? We are. There we go. I don't think I looted that guy. I did not. I'll go back and grab it. So I know the tank is gonna. Yep. Only so many interrupts is correct. There we go. So we're just gonna take the champion first, and I guess we'll do the next pull by itself. I might. Yeah, you know what? I'll go ahead and I'll pop a Pain Suppression on it. Just because there's really no reason not to. It's back up so quickly, and it's just a nice little bit of damage reduction there. That's something else you want to consider is just taking advantage of your cooldowns when they're available. There's not really a huge need to hang on to them. I feel like most of the time that I've run into situations where I really needed a cooldown, I probably had one up that I could work with, and just by virtue of kind of keeping everything rolling and under control, I didn't really need them all that often. It's kind of hard to quantify, but that's always been my experience. The way I use Divine Star is I try and wait until I have a couple of atonements set up on the party here, because if it hits a couple of enemies, it does do not a terrible amount of healing. I mean, it's instant, it hits a lot of guys, it does damage. It's just a little bit more that kind of stacks up on everything else. Opening up with the shield again, getting the dots on people. We still kind of have these atonements. Well, we had the atonements rolling on the melee pile here. Gonna put them back up and just deal that damage out. You can see everybody's already kind of getting worked back up to full. Great time for Divine Star, so I'll do that. I'm gonna save my Power Infusion for the boss because we're getting onto that. And you see here, even though I don't have attrition, or contrition, sorry, I don't have contrition, the melee pile is still getting good heals. Their atonements are up long enough. You throw the Radiance out and you just kind of get to work, and that's really all you need to do. It can be nice when you're first starting out to not have to do it so frequently, but I find just keeping a glance on the left side there and paying attention to whether or not, it's most of the way done. Like, see the warrior there took a hit, so I'm going to Shadow Mend him, gets him back up to full. Any additional damage he takes gets healed up pretty much right away. Go ahead and keep smiting. He's got the dot on him. Tank's got the heals. We're good. Yep, and then these little guys stay alive, which is kind of annoying. Then, Hirja takes like 5 hours to do her RP, so I'm going to have plenty of time to drink here before the fight starts. Ideally, let's see, there we go. Yeah, I can get started at least. I can't put her on focus yet because we are still... Yep. Start off with that shield. Let's get my mana back up all the way. Okay, and the men are available, or the tentacle men are available to punch. I'm going to go ahead and dot everything up because it's just... a little bit extra healing, get those dispels off right away on that. It's not a huge amount of extra damage taken, but the dot does deal damage over time, and it blows up at the end no matter what, so I feel it's better to just dispel it right off the bat. That's 3 tentacles. You need to kill 6 to get her to come down, blow off the back half of the boat. Drop this in the back. Destructor Tentacle is going ham on somebody. There we go, tanks on it, no problem. I usually try and work on the side tentacles because, especially in a melee heavy group like this, people usually aren't inclined to go off on the side and punch them. She's doing that thing on the left side. That's going to hurt. I'm actually going to pull him out in just a moment here. Whoop. Pull him out. Okay, perfect. And I believe this is the last tentacle before she does her thing. Yeah. So she is submerged. We're going to get knocked back. It's totally fine. Get a Shadow Mend off on the tank here. Just get him back up. I like to take advantage of these little periods of downtime here. Just throw Shadow Mends out and get everybody back up to full health, or as close to full as possible. And that also gives me Atonement for the next phase here, ready to go. Put my focus on her real quick. Jump in a hole. That's very important in your boss fights. Go ahead and throw Pain Suppression out now, because I'm still kind of setting stuff up, and why not? It gives me plenty of time to work with. Yep, got that Atonement off onto the warrior at the right time. I'm standing in the applesauce. It's a bad news. It's fine, we just run out. Body and Soul's great for that, and the shield also just absorbs the damage you would take. Just keep throwing a Radiance out here and there. It drains the mana somewhat quickly. If you're lower geared, well, I mean, the healing from it is not why you're doing it. You're doing it for the atonement, so you're not going to see lesser mana usage than, you know, at higher gear levels. It's pretty much going to be the same, unless you're running mana reduction trinkets, which I'm not. Just drop this off in the back real quick. And that was an easy kill. So I'm going to record another one of these because that was way too short and easy of a Mythic to really go into details on stuff. But that's a start.